Welcome back everybody, it's DestinysJesus here. Today I'm going to be looking at the absolute beast, which is Mero. This guy is placed extremely consistently in the cash cups. He got 2nd, 3rd, 11th and 13th in all the most recent cash cups. And he also just won the FNCS Trios Reverse 2K in day. He's absolutely insane at just going for low ground kills in Trios. And we're basically breaking down what makes him so good in these solo cups. What special tips and tricks is he doing to actually get so good at eliminating people and also eliminating them quickly, which is a really important thing for solo cups. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Make sure to leave a like and also make sure to check out my box fighting masterclass. First link in the description. One mistake that I see players make a lot, which is something that Mero avoids, is turning a fight into a build fight. You really never want to be build fighting in a solo cash cup. It just makes you easier to get third partied and get sprayed out, or just take damage and end result in like a longer box fight as well. So what Mero does here is really nice technique. So as you get ramps towards this guy, look how he gets that extended cone over the top of this ramp. All you need to do is just look on like above the wall here, and it'll place on top. So it stops the guy from going upwards. Then he chops, gets a chunk as the guy falls, builds in, and the guy luckily falls in this box. But he basically takes that fight versus like a somewhat decent player who knows how to actually fight people. He takes that fight from probably a minute fight time the whole way down, and that allows him to deal with the next third party as well really cleanly. He's able to come forward a little bit, wait for the edit, get the floor. And again, chops it out, doesn't want to play into a build fight. And this is a really nice box up that he does there. You see, he double edits, gets the extended cone up top. Now he comes in and he's going to go for a wall edit, Lowground Peek, free kill.
So you see here, he swings to the top once to bait the attention upwards. You see he's going to drop down right after, right? As soon as he baits that attention, drops down, swings on this wall now, right? And he's trying to bait that player out again, right? Force him to make a decision. Then right after, right, you see here, perfect right-hand window edit, slides the cone in, and then you can get the easy pump shot.
Couple of different nice counter peeks that Mero does here when he's on the defensive against this guy. First of all, he's just playing around behind this floor where he's trying to get this timing shot on the guy as he breaks the ramp. Messed it up one time, but he goes for it again. Messed it up again. So instead, he decides to go out around this way. And look how he inverts this wall edit that he's got here. Resets it and edits it confirmed in the same motion. And then right-hand peeks into the guy with a jumping shot. Makes it very hard to get traded there. This is a really nice floor peek that you can incorporate in your gameplay when you're playing from the low ground. So what I like to do is either go for a right-hand edit like that and then swing into it, or this backhand edit where you counter strafe backwards and then aim upwards. What works also really nicely is kind of incorporating the two and doing a top right like that, and then jumping and resetting as soon as you shoot, just like that. You can also do this on the floor where you stand on a ramp, you're playing around like this, you edit these back ones, and then you move backwards as you go for a timing shot, just like that. Kind of need to strafe a little bit far back just because you've got your guns underneath where your character is. What looks like from the other person's perspective is as you're playing around from the top here, you're going to be waiting for a timing shot and they're just going to peek up and suddenly reset, and it makes it very hard to pre-time. The ramp one also kind of stops at the angle a little bit. It's quite hard to get hit as well, just because of the fact that you're peeking really quickly and you can reset straight after a scroller as well. This is a rare occasion where Mero's actually boxed up and playing defensively. Look how he immediately just makes a 2x1, and also he likes to get rid of the center wall just so he can place it. A lot of people, depending on if you're hyping or not, you don't really need that center wall there. If you're hyping, I'd recommend just playing around with a center wall and a 2x1. So having that 2x1 space allows him to go for this initial trade as Daxor pushes him. He's expecting Mero to be in this close box. Gets that close wall as well, gets the trade here, and look how he gets this wall extended as soon as he goes for a shot. So as soon as that shot's been taken, he's going for that control, then he gets the cone inside, back walls, cone on top, and that's a free kill. As Mero initiates this fight, one thing I want you to see is just how he immediately goes for height here. He goes for height, make sure that he's got it with these extended ramps up top, and then he immediately looks for a counter peek. He doesn't just sit on height, trying to go for shots from above. He gets this off angle where he drops down to the side, the guy's not really expecting it, and gets that free damage. Now from here, he's pretty free to just jump on the guy and try to go for a key. As you can see here, he jumps in from the side of the box, gets on the wall, and now this guy's completely trapped. He's up on that ramp, which makes it really awkward to edit out, and Mero's just praying that the guy goes for an edit out on him. Finally gets what he wants, and he swaps to his org straight away, and he also body blocks him. He's so confident in winning that shot that instead of letting the guy move around the box and swing wide, he just body blocks him, keeps him trapped inside the box, and then goes to the elim. This is kind of an interesting mechanic that I was thinking about when Mero plays. Obviously, this works really well because he's controller. But if you're fighting against somebody, you always want to make sure when you get them low HP that you try to actually get into their face when you get exploited. You don't want to leave distance between you where they can go for a 100 tag or just trade damage in return and then place a ramp or edit a cone. You basically want to jump in and fully commit into the box in their face. You want to go towards them as you jump in, right? A lot of people mess this up where maybe they'd exploit in, and as I jump in, I'd stand still and try going for a shot. My opponent's just going to place a ramp in that time, go out, and he's going to go for like a nice counter play on me. What this kind of looks like from the other person's perspective, so when they're boxed up, they're trying to maybe get their minis off or their heals off. If the other guy just jumps in into my face and also make sure he strafes right as he does it, it makes it extremely awkward for me to even go for a counter play with the ramp because he's too close to me, or if I had a cone in my box in time for me to just basically edit my cone, since he'd probably be on my front side of the cone. It's something I see players mess up on a lot. Is after they get somebody low, they always just spray with their AR or they just pickaxe through, instead of trying to look for side angles with a shotgun where they can actually eliminate somebody. So here, Mero gets Benji Fishy really low, not real Benji Fishy obviously, but look what he does. Instead of just spraying through and trying to chase him, he takes his wide side angle from here, gets another little white tag, normally that would kill somebody, then he's going to go ahead and drop down and follow. Look how he doesn't waste all of his AR, he still wants to keep his AR ready just for the next box fight in case. Now he comes around ready for a double pickaxe swing on the wall. Could have gone for centerpiece control there, but this is a really nice thing that he does. So when the wall is 1 HP, he basically exploits straight in, gets the ramp, and look at this movement he does. He goes towards underneath the ramp, then places a backward jump over his head. Benji Fishy really isn't ready for this, and hits a one pump. You don't want to just commit into full spraying your AR or just chasing somebody at the pickaxe out. That can result going south really quickly. So you just want to make sure that you kind of balance it and also look for those side angles as somebody's reboxing so you can approach differently and also approach from the walls intelligently rather than just instantly swinging on them as well. It's a really nice technique that Mero does here. As he drops, he just taps the wall twice as his fresh built brick. This allows it to be one shot for a scar. One thing he messed up on though is he should be trying to block that rebox. So as you're dropping there, what I'd normally recommend somebody to do is just block off that wall as you drop down for the pickaxe swing, just so they can't rebox immediately upload like this guy does. So the guy gets up, but this is a really nice Lowground Peek that he does. He basically just plays around the right hand peak below the floor. So basically what you're going to be doing here is just holding as close to underneath as you peek up so you don't get traded too heavily. Gets that initial damage and the guy shockwaves out and he kills him midair. Look at Mero's movement as he comes towards his other players, they go for an edit on him. First of all, he swings to the left-hand side here to get out the way of the guy going for an edit. Then as he goes for the wall swing and his pickaxe, he swings to the right so you can actually get that placement. You don't want to be too far to the left because otherwise it will be quite hard to get the wall angle. And also for this next play, it won't work as well. So what he does, instead of going for that centerpiece and right and peeking with a cone, he just goes for a straight ramp box up. Either the guy ends up on top of the ramp like he does here and he gets a very free pump where he can just line up instantly, or he goes below the ramp and then he can go for a right and peek from there. Just runs in, hits a nice pump. He knows he's got the HP advantage most likely against that guy off spawn. This is something that a lot of players, especially keyboard players, mess up on a lot in solos, as well as in duo fights or trio fights when there's a lot of people involved. Basically too exposed as they run up for a wall and a take. You always want to make sure you've got a wall over here to your side, and then you want to approach on this left hand side and then get your movement down. As you go for your swing, you want to swing out to the right hand side like this and also look down towards the bottom quarter of the wall. Run up to the wall, take it, look down to the right, and then you're in this perfect position where you're ready to cone slide, right hand peek out, or you're ready to just go for a ramp placement into the box, move right, and then set up a nice Mongol classic or something similar. So what that is again, is as you come up to the wall, is you're going to go ahead and hug the left hand side, then look for your ramp placement, look down to the bottom right, make sure you grab it, go ahead and right peek straight after like that. Once it looks like that other person's perspective, it makes it a lot harder for them to get a timing shot just because you're not there. Then as you come out, you're going to go ahead and swing to the right, grab the wall from looking down just like that. This is a really nice example of piece control from Mero here, and it's kind of just not overdoing. A lot of people mess this up where they try to get every single build piece. You only need to think about the ones that are important and actually stopping the enemy from reboxing and also getting that control on the enemy so they can't go for a shot back on you. So look what he does. Edits his cone, goes upwards, triple edit, straight through here. Then look how he gets his wall snapping to the right, most importantly. Then he goes for the full box on the opponent, gets that cone, gets those side walls after. He doesn't try to get those walls immediately like a player like Reet would. He makes sure he gets the cone to stop them going out, then looks for a shot, realizes he's not really free for it. Then he goes to the walls to trap them in. Now that he's got the player fully boxed in with a ramp in there, just plays around behind the top right hand peak. AR spray to replace the cone. Freedom. Most important thing in that sequence is when he's coming out of the box here, that he hits that triple edit quickly and also gets that wall snapped to the right so he can't get immediately traded. I'll show that one more time. Triple edit through, gets the wall snapped to the right, and at this point he's free to go for the box up and then replay from there. This is a really beautiful example of piece control again from Mero here. So what he's going to go ahead and do is come from the top to get that double edit downwards. Again, that's just a technique where you look over the top of the wall and you'll get the floor cone above like that. And then look here, as he gets this right-hand peek on the guy, he gets the floor importantly on the guy, then the close wall, and then the back wall as well. So he's fully boxed him in, left him at this really nice level here where he's not this up and down vertical angle where it's quite hard to line up a headshot. Puts him on the floor so his headshot is really easy to line up, and he gets a freedom just off that.
So you see, he gets a double edit, makes sure to get those 2 back walls. But the key is, right, as he's dropping, he goes for the wall control. You see, he builds those 2 walls as he's dropping. He instantly looks to box up around the player once he gets that control, and then able to take him out.
Mero's really good at playing around off audio and just trying to get damage to initiate a fight. And then here, as he's W king, look what he does. He basically initiates from the side and the middle of the box. The guy's got 3 boxes straight. He initiates in the middle wall so he can get that control. Jumps through, comes through again. And look how he gets that extended cone. You always need to be going for those cone placements whenever you're trying to trap somebody from a long distance away, just because they have that further reach on the build placement. So he goes to that cone, gets the close wall, top cone as well immediately, and the back walls, and one pumps this guy. Then as Unknown comes in from the side, you can see Mero here, gets the close wall again, gets the back wall as well, and the cone in the center as well. He's always going for those cones in the center of boxes rather than the ramps, and then he lands off a nice 200 pump as well. As Mero approaches this guy, look how he doesn't actually commit into a pickaxe swing or a wall take. All he does is bait the swing a couple times and bait a wall take, and then wait for a counter peek from the enemy so he can go for a different play. So what he does here is he's waiting with a pump out, trying to get a shot, baits the guy to edit, and then he realizes he's reset both walls, so he's going to go for this initial wall break. Then he's going to go through shotgun wall replace since he knows it's going to be low HP. Gets the cone side as well here, swings back to the left, out the way, and then goes around for a nice pump. All he's doing there as he's approaching somebody boxed up is just waiting patiently for them to make a counter peek and then for him to capitalize on that, whether it's getting a trade in return or going for piece control and kind of a wall take play as well. It's something that's definitely still viable, and it's basically just barraging your way into a box versus somebody that you know you've got 1 HP. So Mero tags this guy white, knows he's going for a heal, so look what he does. He pickaxes the wall a couple times, tries to bait out the fact that guy wants to go for a counter peek, and then what he does here is as he goes for this low right hand peek edit, he moves over to the right, shotguns through, and then AR swaps as he comes into the box. You don't need to just try to go for a wall take and then a shot. You can just jump in the box, and this works really well with an SMG and then to swap to your shotgun as well. This is a really nice example of pre-reading your opponent and kind of understanding how they're going to react. Obviously, when you're playing a cash cup or arena, you're going to fight a whole load of different varieties, but you can normally assume some natural tendencies within somebody as you're fighting them. So as you can see here, as this guy ramps towards him, Mero's going to read this. He comes up and he gets that wall. Most good players aren't going to edit straight into a wall and ramp in case the ramp gets flipped on them. So what Mero does is a really nice thing where he flips it, edits through, realizes the guy is going to side jump just because of that edit, maybe even go for a timing shot, jumps out onto the guy ahead of him, gets that free initial tag, and look at this edit he does. It's a perfect edit where it messes up the guy's wall edit to rebox some X space, just because of how he flips it. Now he's able to do his nice underhand peek and take him out. When Mero's hunting down his enemy inside the building, he realizes that he's going to be on this right hand side just because of where that wall placement is. So he shockwaves in, gets that initial shot from behind, and look how as soon as he goes to that shot, again, he pulls out his wall, then goes for a box up, cones first, back walls, free kill. That's all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed and could learn a couple new things and tips and tricks of W King. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and also check out my box fighting masterclass. There's a load of different strategies and techniques on there that you could definitely learn from if you're interested.